Socialites, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Ariell. I create beauty and fashion videos as well as lifestyle vlogs. So today's going to be a review of the new Yves Saint Laurent Bare Look Tint. So this is sort of like a skin tint, like a tinted moisturizer in a sense. And I wanted to let you guys know a little bit about the claims of this skin tint. So this is supposed to be a lightweight skin tint with hyaluronic acid and buildable light to medium coverage for a fresh, dewy complexion. This is supposed to be like a makeup slash moisturizer hybrid, and I'm here for it. I love to use products on my skin that are very moisturizing. It just helps me to look a little bit more radiant, especially for my ladies that's over 30. Putting things on your skin and looking radiant is going to be best for you because it sort of turns back that clock a little bit. So I like to use products that have a lot of moisture in them. Couple of the key ingredients, which is one of my favorite ingredients in my skincare as well, which is hyaluronic acid. And this is supposed to visibly pump and moisturize the skin. The next key ingredient is glycerin, and this traps moisture and hydrates the skin as well. As far as the finish, it's supposed to deliver a radiant finish and have light to buildable medium coverage. You can build it up to medium. As far as my color, I did pick up the color NU or NU16. I did pick this foundation up from Sephora and it retails for $39. So yeah, if you want to see how I got this look with the NU, that's the NU Yves Saint Laurent skin tint, then keep on watching. So the packaging is like that typical tinted foundation or tinted moisturizer packaging, which is usually that plastic. It's in like a plastic tube shape like this, and it usually has a twist off cap and you squeeze it off. So any tinted moisturizer that I've used pretty much looks like this, but it has a very super skinny applicator where the product actually comes out. And it's on the medium consistency. It's not super watery at all. I would actually even say thick consistency because it's literally sitting there and not running. So this is a thick consistency. The last foundation review that I did was a thick consistency as well. So this is interesting that we have these thicker products that deliver light coverage. So I'm gonna put about, this is probably about a pea size on my hand because the website does not state how much of the product to use, where to place it. All it really says is you can apply it targeted or all over. It really doesn't tell you how to apply this product at all. So I'm gonna start off with about a pea size. And since it's light coverage and I typically like to go for like a more medium these days, I'm gonna use a dense foundation brush to apply it so I can get the most coverage that I can, even though this is something that has super light coverage. So I'm gonna apply it in the areas that I need the most coverage first. So it's thick, but then when you apply it to the skin, it feels almost like water. Like it melts on the skin. You know how when a product comes out that thick, you think it's gonna glide on creamy? This is almost gliding on like water in a sense. So I'm gonna take a Real Techniques Expert face brush, is this brush here, and then I'm gonna tap it into the skin. And I'm doing it this way because I do wanna maintain as much as the coverage as I can. This delivers light coverage, but it is buildable to about a medium. So I'm trying to get that medium coverage. So that's why I'm using these stippling motions so that it can maintain as much of the coverage as possible. So I think that pea size amount was enough. So for the other areas where I need a bit more coverage, I'm gonna go in with concealer. So my favorite concealer to conceal my pigmentation is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the color NC45. That's actually my skin tone. And it's so thin, that's why I like to use this specific product to cover pigmentation because it's so thin, it lays on the skin thin. Especially for a foundation like this, that's something that's really thin, almost like water, like this foundation. You want to go in with a concealer that's on the thinner side because you don't want to create, you know, that cakiness. See how I'm putting my concealer? That's how I can really tell that the foundation is giving off red, because it's making my concealer look too light when this is actually my skin tone. But that's okay, we're gonna work this out. To highlight today, I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty concealer. This is the Faux Filter Concealer in the color 6.5 Brittle. I'm gonna blend the concealer with a Real Techniques blending sponge, starting out the outer edges, working my way inward. I do really like the finish of this foundation. It just gives a very natural and very much like skin. I can see my skin all the way through it, but it also perfects my complexion as well. So I love that about this foundation so far. For contour today, I'm going in with another Huda Beauty product, which is the Tantour Contour and Bronzer Cream. I'm using the color medium. Medium is super dark, by the way. And I'm gonna use another one of those Real Techniques brushes. And it's the same type of brush, I'm just using a different one, and I'm going in to do my contour with that. You guys, be careful picking up this product because it is super pigmented, but it's really, really creamy and easy to blend out, but it's super pigmented. So be careful, a little bit goes a long way. So this is gonna last you quite some time. Going back in with that Real Techniques sponge, I'm gonna blend between the highlight and the contour just to give it a more seamless look. My complexion looks so creamy. I absolutely love that in a foundation. So now we're gonna set our face. I'm gonna use my Laurent Mercier loose translucent powder. Using that same Real Techniques blending sponge, I'm going to lightly apply it in my highlighted areas. And then I'm gonna add the same powder everywhere else and blend it in. For bronzer, I'm going in with the Pro Bronzer from Absolute New York. This one is in the color dark, and a tapered blush brush. I'm gonna add a little bit of highlight. I'm going in with a MAC Cosmetics loose highlighter. This is their Gold Pro highlighter. So I'm just gonna take a little bit from the lid. To brighten just a little bit more underneath the eyes, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This one is in the color 2 medium, and I'm using the Real Techniques 402 brush. I'm going to touch my brows up using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and this one is in the color Espresso. For lashes today, we don't want to cover up our pretty eyeshadow, so I'm going in with Socialite Mink lashes, of course, but I'm using the style 9 to 5. It is the most conservative style out of the Socialite Mink lash brand. So it's going to give you still that flirty vibe, but it's going to be a little bit more short and understated, okay? For lips today, since we have sort of this greenish gold on the lips, I think we should do like a pink, something in the pink family to complement the green. So for lip liner, I'm using MAC lip liner in the color Cork. And for the lip color, I'm going in with another Huda Beauty product. This is the Liquid Matte Lipstick in the color Crushed. And this is super pigmented, so I'm just gonna dab like 1, 2, 3 and blend. For gloss, I'm gonna use the Matte Cream Sheen Gloss. This one is in the color BoyBait. And this is the final look. So now that the look is complete, I'm not mad at the color. I think the color looks pretty good. I don't have a problem with the color at all. And the finish, I really like the finish. I love how natural and radiant it looks. Even after I put powder, even though I didn't put a lot of powder, even after powder, it still looks radiant. And a lot of foundations, once you add the powder, it just almost completely mattifies it. So I really like that. Since the website doesn't really give us much to go on as far as lasting power, we're gonna be the judge of that today, okay? So it is about 2:15, it's almost 2:15, so I'm gonna wear this for the remainder of the day, and as usual, I'll come back at the end of the night and let you guys know my final thoughts and how this foundation stood up. Okay, socialites, so I am back and it is now 9:15, so it's exactly 7 hours later. So the foundation's not too bad. So as you can see, it didn't really oxidize. So it stayed the same color for 7 hours, which is great. So being that it looks this way 7 hours later, I don't think it's gonna oxidize. If it was gonna do that, it would have done it already for sure. So I do like that about this foundation. It remains radiant, but it didn't get super oily. So I didn't blot it all, which typically I don't. So you're not gonna get super oily. As far as primers is concerned, to prep the skin, I would just use like a regular primer unless you're somebody with super oily skin. The primer that I would probably use is the Fenty Beauty Soft Silk Foundation, just because it helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines and pores, and it just gives you that super silky look to the skin, and it helps the makeup to last a little bit longer, because when I applied it initially, I don't really like to put primers on with reviews so I can know which primer to recommend, if you get what I'm saying. After I wear it for a full day, I want to see how it performs on bare skin first. So that's the primer that I would use. If you're somebody that's super oily, I would recommend using the Fenty Beauty True Matte Primer or whatever mattifying primer that you like. So it's a yes in my book. I really like this foundation and it performs well. If you found this review helpful, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, I'll see y'all later. 'Cause I've been where you are. You're too scared to show me love, 'cause too fresh with the scars. Well, I don't have the answers,